Great Northwoods to the Rockbound Coast and streaming live in HD worldwide at foxbangor.com. More people choose Good Morning Maine.
Hello everyone. Today on Good Morning Maine, Rockland police are investigating a crash between a motorcycle and a car. We'll have the details coming up.
Plus, Bangor's Together Place has now officially closed their doors due to a lack of funds. We'll have the details on that too.
And folks gathered over the weekend on the Penobscot River to celebrate marine heritage. Good morning and welcome to Good Morning Maine. I'm Janessa Bishop.
And I'm Craig Colson. Thank you so much for joining us on this Monday morning. We hope you had a great weekend, busy weekend for a lot of us.
Very busy, yes. Yeah. You were at the crate races yesterday.
We had a great time down in Rockland for the crate races.
That's awesome.
Again, so a really fun event there. And thanks to everybody who helped make that possible.
Yes.
We'll have all the day's news coming up this morning, but first a check of the forecast. And the big story this morning is the rain coming. We could use some rain.
I think we could.
And it's going to be a good day for a nap if you have the opportunity.
It sure is. Yeah. We'll turn things over to meteorologist Devin Biggs.
And thank you very much, Craig and Janessa. Happy Monday. Your first weather forecast brought to you by Old Town Redemption Center, now offering a 10% bonus on your returnables and a monthly $100 drawing. Alrighty, here we go. This morning, we have a small craft advisory that is up until 8 a.m. as we head towards your Tuesday. We are going to be watching for some active surf as an area of low pressure approaches from the southwest and tracks off towards the north and to the east. Meanwhile, this morning we are watching for some rain that is developing from southwest and going toward the north and east. Not much lightning with this, but we are going to be watching for showers and thunderstorms today, and the winds will be picking up with this too, so be ready for some gusty winds on top of the rain, and that is why that small craft advisory is posted this morning. As we do watch this, though, we are going to be seeing this tracking northeast, and the rain, again, no lightning with this just quite yet, but it is going to be moving in our direction as we do push forward in time. So here we are. We do have the showers and thunderstorms moving in this morning. You notice the tight isobars. That is the wind right there, and it is going to change directions later on tonight. But notice this clears out, so that means Tuesday will be a lot better. The hourly forecast as we do push forward, again, showers and yes, thunderstorms today with temperatures only in the low 70s. Your full 5-day forecast is coming up. Craig and Janessa.
All right, thank you, Devin. We'll see you a little later on. Well, first this morning, police in Rockland are investigating a serious collision between a motorcycle and a car. It happened around 5:30 Saturday afternoon on Park Street. Officials say the 20-year-old rider was not wearing a helmet when the two vehicles collided. The operator was rushed to Penn Bay Medical Center with possible life-threatening injuries. A crash reconstructionist from the Maine State Police was also called to the scene to help determine how it happened. At this point, police believe excessive speed may have been a factor. It was one of 10 vehicle crashes reported in Rockland on Saturday.
Well, meanwhile, a person is dead after a head-on crash in Randolph. Kennebec County Sheriff's Office Chief Deputy Chris Reed says authorities responded to a two-car crash at 76 Water Street in Randolph Thursday, a little after 2 p.m. According to the report, all of the people were still trapped in their vehicles. Reed says 62-year-old Deborah Alexander of Gardner was driving one of the vehicles, and despite life-saving efforts, she died at the scene. Her passenger, 18-year-old Troy Simmons of Gardner, was transported to Maine Medical Center with severe injuries. Reed says 51-year-old Miriam Porter of China, who was driving the other vehicle, was taken to Central Maine Medical Center with severe injuries. Reed says the preliminary investigation shows Alexander's vehicle drifted into the oncoming lane and struck the other vehicle head-on. That crash remains under investigation.
Well, 5 people managed to escape without injuries after a fire broke out at a home in Hudson. According to Hudson Fire and Rescue, they received a call for a working structure fire on Upper Cross Road in Hudson early Wednesday morning. Upon arrival, crews found heavy fire on the right side of the house. Deputy Chief Thomas Reed says 2 adults and 3 children made it out without injuries. According to Reed, the location of the house did present some challenges. He said the narrow and rough road made it difficult for trucks to turn around. He added that some mutual aid crews had to walk quite a distance to get to the scene. One firefighter was also transported to a local hospital for evaluation. The fire is under investigation, but officials say it is believed to be accidental.
Well, in other news this morning, a teen charged with 2 murders in Chelsea will be tried as an adult, despite being 16 years old when the alleged crimes occurred. According to state police, 43-year-old Christopher Hunnewell and his adopted son, 22-year-old Ty Carter, were found by state troopers dead inside a Chelsea home in June of 2025. The teen accused of killing them is 17-year-old Jason Hunnewell, and he was a cousin to one of the victims who had taken him in. According to court paperwork, multiple factors were considered, including potential threats to public safety. There's no set timetable right now for when a trial might proceed.
Well, expecting mothers and doctors are calling it a crisis in Maine. 9 maternity units have closed around the state in the past few years. This means longer and scarier drives to hospitals with delivery units. And as Allison LaPierre reports, community leaders want to prevent another one from shutting down on the Mid-Coast.
Efforts are underway to try and save a Mid-Coast Maine labor and delivery hospital.
And I want to be very clear. We are asking as loudly as we can for Maine Health Board to not close labor and delivery services at Lincoln Hospital.
Nurses and doctors, community members, and state leaders rallied outside Portland City Hall this morning. They hope to prevent Lincoln Hospital's Miles Campus Birthing Center in Damariscotta from closing.
I am optimistic that with the motivation of all of us, Maine Health will change their position and work with us to save labor and delivery in Damariscotta.
The Maine Health Board continues to discuss the future of the facility's birthing services. In a statement sent to us, a Maine Health spokesperson wrote in part, "At Maine Health Lincoln Hospital, the review of labor and delivery services remains in our established governance process. No final decision has been made." Several mothers living in rural Maine say there's not a lot of options for giving birth.
I was living rurally. The hospital had closed. I had to drive into the city, which was 45 miles away, and it was a terrifying ride. Is the car going to stop? Am I going to hit the traffic into the city? Am I going to get through the city without sirens and people stopping us?
Numerous state leaders addressed the concerns, including U.S. Democratic Senate nominee Troy Jackson.
Healthcare is essential, and in rural Maine we are struggling, and we have to have places like Miles stay open so that we can have people continue to live.
The rally finished with a march down Congress Street.
And that was Allison LaPierre reporting. Well, meanwhile, an HIV outbreak in Penobscot County continues to grow. A new case of HIV has been identified in Penobscot County, bringing the total number of confirmed cases to 45. The Maine CDC says 91% of those diagnosed since 2023 have used injectable drugs, and 91% are also facing homelessness. The majority of those in Penobscot County living with HIV also have hepatitis C. 82% have been able to receive care. More information is available on the Maine CDC's website, including resources for testing and care, as well as safety tips and how to know if you're at risk for an HIV infection.
Well, after 45 years of serving some of Bangor's most vulnerable populations, the Together Place has been forced to temporarily close their doors, at least some of their programs during the day. On Friday afternoon, they announced that they fell short of their funding goal of $75,000. This puts a pause on many of their vital services, including meals, local resources, recovery services, and their shelter. Leaders of the organization are adamant that they're not giving up on their mission or the community they serve. Their doors will temporarily close, but board president Shay Mullaney says they're aiming for this not to be a permanent goodbye.
It's an intrinsic part of recovery. We have a responsibility. When somebody needs help, our hand is always there. And that's what we're going to do. That's what we've been doing and hopefully continue to do. We love Bangor. I love Bangor. This has become my home, and I am honored to give back. This is the place where I got sober. This is the place where my life changed. And I just want to give that back to everybody else here. We all go through together.
Well, according to Mullaney, the Together Place does plan to reopen when it's possible. They are still accepting donations and say that every little bit helps get them further to their goal of reopening. To learn more, you can visit togetherplace.org.
$30 million is on its way to 11 rural hospitals in Maine. The money from the Department of Health and Human Services is intended to help strengthen the long-term financial health and sustainability of rural hospitals across the state. A statement from DHHS says that the hospitals were invited to participate after an analysis of key financial factors. The agency identified hospitals that would benefit the most from this one-time investment. Millinocket Regional Hospital, Mount Desert Island Hospital, Northern Light AR Gould Hospital, and Maine Health Penn Bay Hospital are among those recipients.
Well, food insecurity is a growing problem here in Maine, and according to a new report from Feeding America, more than 200,000 Mainers didn't know where their next meal would come from last year. Our Alex Schley has more on the findings and how local organizations are trying to keep up with the growing need.
Thursday, Feeding America released the findings of a study looking at growing food insecurity in Maine.
That's a change from about 190,000 people to 203,000 people, right? So about 13,000 people more who are not certain where their next meal is going to come from. We also see in that number 50,000 children.
McCarthy says the recent findings were based on numbers collected during 2024.
So what we know from firsthand experience here on the ground is that hunger is likely even higher than that in today's reality because those numbers don't reflect federal changes to food programs that have gone into place in the last 18 months.
McCarthy says the study reveals that rural communities, specifically those in Washington County, were adversely affected by individuals facing food insecurity. Chris Street, the nutrition director for Eastern Area Agency on Aging, which provides Meals on Wheels for residents in Penobscot, Hancock, Piscataquis, and Washington counties, say they have seen this firsthand.
Especially for those on our Meals on Wheels program that are really in deep need of good nutrition, that the referrals that we've seen come in for that have increased by about 100% over the last 2 years. We used to average about 20, 25 referrals every single month. And we're starting to get into the 50 to 60 per month across our four counties.
Street says while the increased demand is putting increased stress on nonprofits, they are continuing to work every day to help Mainers in need.
To see people struggling to get the food that they need, and in seeing that not even just being food insecure is their only issue, but it's a root cause of many of the other problems, health concerns that they end up having.
Alex Live reporting for ABC 7 and Fox 22 News.
All right, well, the time now is 6:12. I'll read this part.
Sure.
Coming up next on Good Morning Maine, the gaff schooner Harvey Gamage docked on the Bangor waterfront. We'll learn more about that coming up.
But first, another look at our forecast. For today, it seems like it'll be a bit of a rainy day with showers and thunderstorms, temperatures in the mid-70s. Overnight tonight, relatively the same with temperatures in the lower 60s. And for tomorrow, nice day ahead, mostly sunny and windy, highs around 84. We'll be right back.
Disturbing news about threats of violence against women. Is it Graham Plattner again? No, it's Troy Jackson. When a female legislator disagreed with Jackson, he threw a water bottle at her in anger. The woman was deeply frightened. Jackson was known for bullying, and his screaming felt like intentional intimidation. His brash conduct with women raised alarm bells about his temperament. Troy Jackson, another phony we can't trust. Pine Tree Results PAC is responsible for the content of this advertising.
Webb's RV Center has a 4-acre lot with over 75 previously owned campers all on sale, plus another 4 acres of new RVs and motorhomes. Webb's RV will take anything in trade. You can buy a camper anywhere, but be sure to buy your next camper at your local neighbor. A website can't service your RV, but Webb's RV will. And they have the biggest service department in the state of Maine to help you enjoy your RV or motorhome.
So come on down, neighbor. The coffee pot's on and the pencil is sharp.
All across America.
Good morning. Hello.
Wherever we are,
welcome.
It feels like home.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you.
Man, it's good to be home.
Good morning, America. GMA, it's an invitation to come together.
Hey, George, how are you? Good morning.
And brighten your morning.
Welcome back, everyone. Well, the arrival of the Harvey-Gamage schooner kicked off a celebration of America's 250th and the Penobscot River's maritime history. The Penobscot Maritime Heritage Association's multi-day four-port loop event encourages folks to visit the 14 riverfront ports of the Penobscot River. Stationed along the Brewer waterfront was the world's largest 3D printed boat, constructed by the Advanced Structures and Composite Center of the University of Maine, highlighting the future of marine technology. Local row teams also offered free lessons on 32-foot gig boats in Bangor, part of a regional effort by area groups to expand the rowing community.
I hope they see us out there having fun on a gorgeous day, and they're like, geez, I'd like to get involved in that, and then to check out some of the groups in the area and to learn to row.
It's really fantastic to remember the heritage of the maritime and the importance of that on our communities, and the Bangor Brewer area certainly came to be as a result of this river, Penobscot River, and all the commerce that it brought in. And actually within the last 10 years, both waterfront sides have really developed, and so they're a great place to come and do things.
The Maritime Heritage Celebration will conclude today, but organizers encourage people to tour the historic towns along the four-port loop all year long.
Well, it was a rare opportunity for those on board and on land as the gaff schooner Harvey-Gamage docked at the Bangor waterfront. Her arrival is part of that immersive tour of the Penobscot River. Our Doug Banks has more on that story.
Something different to see on the waterfront here on a Friday afternoon.
It was a spectacle for spectators as they watched the gaff schooner Harvey-Gamage dock at the Bangor waterfront. She began her trip Friday morning in Bucksport. Her waterfront arrival is part of the four-port loop put on by the Penobscot Maritime Heritage Association, which takes passengers on a voyage of the Penobscot River.
This was the interstate system years ago.
With stops in Bucksport, Searsport, Castine, Bangor, and Brewer. According to the association's president, ambitions to create the four-port loop tour set sail 3 years ago when the Santa Maria traversed the Penobscot.
And it was so overwhelming in Bucksport you couldn't find a parking spot.
This year's immersive tour celebrates America's 250th anniversary, and he says plans are in place 3 years from now to honor the worst U.S. naval defeat prior to Pearl Harbor.
The Penobscot Expedition.
Built in 1973 in South Bristol, Maine, the Harvey-Gamage stands approximately 91 feet tall and 131 feet long, a representation of the state's wooden boat-building tradition, serving as an educational vessel for over 5 decades.
And they learn how to jib the sails and manage the ship, and by the time they're through in 1 week, they can do it themselves.
Various vessels dock here in Bangor, but because of the height of the Veterans Remembrance Bridge, it's a rare opportunity when a ship like the Harvey-Gamage makes its way to the waterfront.
We don't see them very often this far upstream, so it's a unique opportunity for spectators here in the community and from around the region.
The vessel began its return voyage to Bucksport at 2 p.m. In Bangor, Doug Banks, ABC 7 and Fox 22 News.
Police officers never know what the day will bring. That was certainly the case in Winslow on Sunday when they discovered some unexpected guests in the department's dumpster. 4 raccoons had become trapped after dropping by in a search of a quick meal. The young bandits were hot and clearly upset about their predicament. Luckily for them, officers used a board to slide the dumpster door open so they could return to the wild. And just another day on the job for the folks at Winslow PD.
How about that? Awful cute.
They are pretty cute.
Yeah.
Well, the time now is 6:18. After the break, negotiations between the U.S. and Iran are set to resume. We'll bring you the details coming up.
Plus, over the weekend, many all across Maine celebrated the wild blueberry. Those stories and more coming up on Good Morning Maine.
At Old Town Redemption Center, we are always ready to help with any fundraisers or bottle drives. We are here to help our community. Like and follow us on Facebook for upcoming weekly holiday giveaways and our monthly $100 drawing.
Ladies, a Maine adventure. Wow, look at all these sneakers.
Brooks, New Balance,
Under Armour, Keds, Saucony.
lots of sneakers for the entire family. Get ready for back to school. Get to Rennie's and get your sneakers.
Wednesday, K-pop sensation Yun Jun brings his first solo performance only to GMA. And get this, to Central Park. It's a K-pop party in the park with Yun Jun on Good Morning America's Summer Concert Series, sponsored by Norwegian Cruise Line.
Invest in your nest with the County Federal Credit Union. Your home has grown in value season after season.
With the county's 1010 Home Equity Line of Credit, you can borrow up to your credit limit over 10 years with interest-only payments over those 10 years. 1010. And then you can stop and smell the roses, soak up the sun, and invest in your nest. The 1010 Home Equity Line of Credit, the County Federal Credit Union, countyfcu.org.
At Old Town Redemption Center, we are always ready to help with any fundraisers or bottle drives. We are here to help our community. Like and follow us on Facebook for upcoming weekly holiday giveaways and our monthly $100 drawing.
This weekend was all about the state berry. Since 2021, Governor Janet Mills has proclaimed the first weekend in August as Wild Blueberry Weekend, in celebration of wild blueberries and the main processors who grow them. Our Grace Blanchard went to a farm in Penobscot and has more on the story.
This weekend, people across Maine are celebrating Maine's state berry.
Blueberries are great. We love blueberries. But also just like supporting the local farmers who are putting so much work into growing the blueberries.
August 1st and 2nd was proclaimed by Governor Janet Mills as the 6th annual Wild Blueberry Weekend.
Just learning about the pretty big piece of the economy that you don't always see. You just see it in the grocery store, but you know, there's real people behind the scenes making it happen.
Among those people behind the scenes are the owners of Blue Hill Berry Company in Penobscot, who have been farming certified organic wild blueberries for nearly 3 decades.
We're trying to certainly help the industry overall by raising awareness and appreciation for, what is our native crop.
Maine produces nearly 100% of all wild blueberries in the U.S.
You have specialized equipment that harvests the berries. We bring them in here to our facility. We have the equipment that specially processes them. This is called Fresh Pack blueberries.
Last year alone, Maine farmers harvested 55 million pounds of wild blueberries. Lindholm hopes Wild Blueberry Weekend puts a spotlight on the farmers driving this sector.
It's not an easy industry to survive in as a grower, so getting to know who the growers are and what it takes to produce this fruit is something that I hope everyone goes home with.
In Penobscot, Grace Blanchard, ABC 7 and Fox 22 News.
And on that same note, as summer in Maine reaches its peak, one of the state's most treasured agricultural resources begins its prime. Our Sam Miller with more.
From late July to early September, Maine's fresh wild blueberry season is in its prime, and local farms are already hard at work.
We're a third of the way through our harvest and probably still have another 3 weeks to go.
Williams Family Farm in Clifton has started their blueberry production process, gearing up for a season that drives a large portion of the state's agricultural economy. While most growers sell their berries to processors, the Williams farm does everything from start to finish themselves before delivering them. Every day, blueberries are harvested and offloaded by the truckload. According to farm co-owner John Williams, this is where the real fun begins.
We put it through the process line. The machinery does a lot of taking the leaves and the sticks out, and even takes a lot of the green berries and soft berries out. And then by hand we have to finish and get the remaining stems and green ones out before they're put in packaged in a quart. It's basically ready for sale at that point.
On Thursday, the farm delivered 2,600 quarts of blueberries, their biggest yet. Williams says this is a great sign that the season will be fruitful.
It's a very good season. It's a good crop. Whether it's someone small like us or the big growers, it's going to be a good crop. And last year was an awful season, so that's going to be a big boost to all the people. It's much needed.
Williams Farm is open 7 days a week from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. In Clifton, Sam Miller, ABC 7 and Fox 22 News.
Boy, they look good, don't they?
They are good,
Yeah.
yes, I know from experience.
I love Maine blueberries.
Well, the time now is 6:23. Let's get a full look at our forecast with meteorologist Devin Biggs.
Alrighty, Craig and Janessa, thank you very much. Your full weather forecast brought to you by Old Town Redemption Center, now offering a 10% bonus on your returnables and a monthly $100 drawing. Alrighty, here we go. We have a small crowd advisory that is posted until 8 a.m. as we head towards your Tuesday along the coast. Active surf will be expected as an area low pressure tracks from the southwest and goes toward the north and east. And we're not seeing it just just quite yet. All the active service further off towards the south and west at this moment in time. So all the buoys nearby are not looking too bad just quite yet. And the key word for now is yet. But water temperatures at the moment are in the mid 60s nearby, even some 60s and even some 70s further off towards the east. Meanwhile, the big headline now is going to be the showers and thunderstorms that are going to be moving in from the southwest to the north and east. The lightning tracker is on, so no lightning with this just quite yet, but it is going to be taking place later on today with all the rainfall moving in. We could use some rainfall. Some areas, especially farther down toward the south and to the west, are in drought right now, so we'll take the rainfall as well. This is that area low pressure that's tracking off towards to the north and to the east, and again, that's what's going to be giving us the showers and the thunderstorms that will be moving in today. So let's check out this area low pressure. Showers and thunderstorms today, and the winds will be gusty as well, not only today and tonight, but also into tomorrow as well, with the area low pressure tracking to the north and east. The good news is we'll have some sunshine at least, but even as we head towards Tuesday evening, we'll still have some wind to deal with, even though the sky will be more on the clear side. It will be Wednesday before things start to calm down. So for today, here's what we got. Showers and thunderstorms. Yes, wind too, with highs in the mid 70s. South wind at about 25 miles per hour. Later on tonight, thunderstorms early, then partly cloudy, lows only in the low 60s, and a south wind at about 30 miles per hour. And then for tomorrow, a lot better, mostly sunny, still windy, with highs in the mid 80s and that west wind at about 30 miles per hour. All right, let's check out your extended forecast. Wednesday, partly cloudy, highs warming into the upper 80s, with Thursday, partly cloudy, highs in the low 90s, and then Friday, showers and thunderstorms with highs in the upper 80s.
Keep your boat safe, functional, and beautiful with a Shoremaster boat lift from Hammond Lumber Company. Your Hammond sales rep can help you choose the perfect lift for your boat. Shoremaster's exclusive Whisper winch offers the industry's smoothest and quietest operation. Add speed and convenience with a Shoremaster lift motor. And Shoremaster's modular Infinity design makes it easy to upgrade with accessories when you're ready. Take your boating experience to the next level with a Shoremaster boat lift from Hammond Lumber Company.
Still getting glitched by cable internet? Enough already. Fidium is 100% fiber internet. Ultra reliable, lightning fast. So everything you do online works exactly like it should.
Zach, go to bed.
Fiber up to Fidium. Get plans starting at only $30 a month at fidiumfiber.com.
Thinking of buying a used car? Be on the alert for the potential for fraud with private vehicle sales. Knowing the signs of fraud and doing your research can help ensure you get a good deal and not swindled. Before handing over your hard-earned cash, thoroughly research the vehicle's history. And remember, if a deal seems too good to be true, it probably is. Brought to you by this station, the Maine Association of Broadcasters, and the Office of the Secretary of State.
Family Feud asks, what were they thinking?
Name an innocent reason you've got your butt in the air. Got your butt in the air. Butt in the air.
Getting spanked. Very innocent.
No, it ain't. No, it ain't. Not if I'm getting spanked.
Thinking about fun? Watch Family Feud.
All right, go ahead.
Weekdays at 9 on ABC 7.
You're watching ABC 7 Bangor.
New details in the deadly shooting rampage at an In-N-Out restaurant in Idaho. We're learning about the man being hailed as a hero for opening fire on the suspect. 3 people were killed and 7 were injured before the shooter turned the gun on himself. But police say it could have been a lot worse if that Good Samaritan and off-duty officer had not intervened. Here's ABC's Hannah Battah.
He's the man seen in this video, returning fire as a gunman carried out a shooting rampage outside an In-N-Out restaurant in Twin Falls, Idaho.
Everybody's running.
35-year-old Jordan Salinas tells the Idaho Statesman he had just pulled into the parking lot when he heard gunfire. He says he drew his semi-automatic pistol and saw the suspect lift a rifle to his shoulder and fire toward cars. That's when Salinas began firing. Police say an off-duty policeman at the scene also returned fire.
These people are true heroes in our community, and their actions diverted the shooter and no doubt saved many lives.
Police say the shooter, identified as 24-year-old Chad Williams, killed 3 people and injured 7 others before taking his own life.
Call the police.
What's happening? What's happening?
What happened?
What's happening?
Shoot.
Lindsay Tangai heard the shots.
It was just mass chaos. The attention was everybody running from in and out.
She found several victims, including her friend Terry Dudley, a taxi driver who was shot in his car.
And so I walked over and Terry was in his front seat, still conscious at the moment, but not really able to communicate.
That In-N-Out opened just days ago, drawing massive crowds. The company says one of its employees is among the dead, saying the shooter took the precious lives of our associate and customers, innocent people who never saw it coming. Police have not yet revealed a possible motive for the shooting. Hannah Batop, ABC News, New York.
Well, meanwhile, negotiations between the U.S. and Iran are set to continue today. According to President Trump, this as he called off a massive attack on Iran over the weekend. Karen Waugh with that story.
Good morning. President Trump did a 180 this weekend. On Friday saying there would be a massive attack on Iran, then on Sunday saying Gulf allies wanted him to hold off and try diplomacy again. This morning, President Trump says negotiations with Iran are picking back up, adding he called off an attack on Iran over the weekend at the request of Gulf allies, including Saudi Arabia, Qatar, and the United Arab Emirates.
It was going to be an attack that would have been by far the biggest attack since World War II, but they've asked us not to do it.
The president claimed a deal with Iran is imminent, as he has previously claimed numerous times. The whiplash strategy has become routine as Trump attempts to resolve the conflict. Iran has yet to give any indication that it will ease its control over the Strait of Hormuz. Over the weekend, Iranian leaders said negotiations with Oman regarding the opening of the Strait of Hormuz are in their final stages, but the strait will not go back to the way it was pre-war. Democratic lawmakers remain skeptical.
And I think what we're seeing here is a president who has an approach to this that's just rather erratic. He says one thing, he does another thing.
Some Republican senators are urging Trump to maintain the sanctions until Iran reopens the strait.
Whatever he does, do not release the sanctions, stopping their sale of oil, or remove the blockade until we see Iran take firm actions to open the strait.
Another point of concern, there are more signs the war between Ukraine and Russia is overlapping with the war against Iran. Last week, Ukraine attacked an Iranian ship it said was carrying military supplies. Karen Hua, ABC News, Washington.
Well, now to a wildfire emergency in the western U.S. Dozens of fires are burning, including in the area of Spokane, Washington, where 60,000 people have been forced to evacuate. And more than 600 homes and buildings in the Spokane area are damaged or destroyed by multiple wildfires. Authorities calling it the worst natural disaster the region has ever seen. More than 7,000 acres are burning, and firefighters are racing in from California and as far away as Australia. Experts say these fires are fueled by drought and extreme wind.
Well, Acting Attorney General Todd Blanche officially rescinds a fund meant to compensate President Trump's political allies after weeks of negotiations within the Senate. Acting Attorney General Blanche issued a formal order on Sunday terminating President Trump's $1.8 billion anti-weaponization fund meant to pay people who say they were politically persecuted. Republican Senators Thom Tillis and John Cornyn have expressed concerns over the fund due to an agreement that made Trump immune from IRS audits. Tillis and Cornyn have refused to vote for Blanche as the full-time Attorney General unless it is put into writing that Trump will no longer pursue that anti-weaponization fund. Blanche's Sunday order says, quote, the fund is not moving forward, and the document also limits Trump's immunity from tax audits. Blanche's order comes days before the Senate Judiciary Committee is set to vote on his nomination for Attorney General.
Well, coming up on the second half of the newscast, we'll take a look at the Ride for Vets event put on by Central Maine Harley-Davidson. This and more as Good Morning Maine continues.
On the Road, broadcasting the news at 6, live from Dexter, is brought to you by Comfort Shoes, offering a wide selection of casual, work, and athletic styles, alongside custom orthotics and specialty shoes. Rove's Bike in Orono. We offer a full range of bicycles, as well as maintenance, repairs, and apparel. Kings Mountain RC. Find everything you need for your remote control vehicles at our Harvey store in Brewer.
ABC 7, Fox 22. The place we call home, telling Maine stories wherever you roam. From sunrise shores to forests of pine, hard work, strong hearts, values that shine. From old towns to harbors, back roads to ocean blue. Neighbors helping neighbors in all that we do. Through storms and clear skies, day after day, we're here with the stories that matter in Maine. From mountains to sea, standing strong and true. This is Maine, this is home on ABC 7, Fox 22.
You're watching ABC 7 Bangor.
Welcome back to Good Morning Maine. Today is August 3rd, believe it or not, 2026. This is also National Friendship Day.
Where did July go?
It's crazy.
Well, this special day celebrates the vital and loving connections that make our lives full. It encourages us to reach out, express gratitude, and strengthen our bonds with friends. You can plan a get-together, send a thoughtful note, or simply call a good friend and tell them how much they mean to you.
It really doesn't take much. Just
No.
let them know you're thinking about them.
Yeah, a
and
nice phone call
Yeah.
is good once in a while.
Don't know what I'd do without my friends. you know?
Same.
Yeah.
Yeah, important.
All right, time for some history. It was on this date back in 1852 during the first sporting competition between American colleges. Harvard rode past Yale to win the first Harvard-Yale regatta. 1936, American track and field star Jesse Owens won the first of his 4 gold medals at the Berlin Olympic Games, a feat that destroyed Adolf Hitler's myth about Aryan supremacy. But despite being a global hero, Owens wasn't treated as such when he returned home to Alabama. Only white Olympians were invited to the White House, and Owens still faced Jim Crow segregation laws when he got back home. What a terrible tale. you
Yeah,
know.
yeah.
And in 1949, after struggling to win fans of their own, 2 rival basketball leagues merged to form the National Basketball Association.
I didn't know that's how it started.
They had 2 different leagues, and they were competing to get players and just fans, because a lot
Yeah.
of people didn't know what basketball was at the time.
Right.
And eventually they formed
They just
this.
kind of merged.
Yeah, they did what the NFL did. And
That's interesting. Well, in 1958, the U.S. submarine, the Nautilus, became the first to travel under the North Pole, pioneering a new and shorter route from the Pacific to the Atlantic in Europe. In 1981, U.S. air traffic controllers went on strike while demanding better pay and workplace improvements. The strike caused thousands of cancellations and delays while supervisors and members of the military tried to keep the system running. But in the end, President Ronald Reagan fired the more than 11,000 striking members and barred them from federal employment in the future. In 1996, the Macarena began to lead the top charts of the pop charts and would spend 60 weeks there. The catchy song with a Spanish flair would spend more time at the top of the charts than any other song in history. I was going to say 60 weeks.
That's a long time.
That's a really
Yeah.
long time.
You think of your favorite song or think of the most popular song ever, Macarena
beats it.
That's crazy.
That's funny.
All right, for birthdays today, quite a lineup today. They include TV personality and businesswoman Martha Stewart.
Martha.
She is 85. Last I knew, she had a house down by Bahaba.
Oh, did she?
Yeah, so for a long
cool.
time, out down in MDI anyway. Patriots football great Tom Brady is 49, and Jason Momoa, Aquaman, is 47 today.
Wow, we got a stellar lineup
How
here.
about that? Yeah. Happy birthday to you also, if your birthday is today.
We'll turn things right back over to meteorologist Devin Biggs.
And thank you very much, Craig and Janessa. Happy Monday. Your first weather forecast brought to you by Old Town Redemption Center. Now offering a 10% bonus on your returnables and a monthly $100 drawing. Alrighty, here we go. This morning we have a small craft advisory that is up until 8 a.m. as we head towards your Tuesday. We are going to be watching for some active surf as an area of low pressure approaches from the southwest and tracks off towards the north and to the east. Meanwhile, this morning we are watching for some rain that is developing from southwest and going toward the north and east. Not much lightning with this, but we are going to be watching for showers and thunderstorms today, and the winds will be picking up with this too, so be ready for some gusty winds on top of the rain, and that is why that small craft advisory is posted this morning. As we do watch this, though, we are going to be seeing this tracking northeast, and the rain, again, no lightning with this just quite yet, but it is going to be moving in our direction as we do push forward in time. So here we are. We do have the showers and thunderstorms moving in this morning. You notice the tight isobars. That is the wind right there, and it is going to change directions later on tonight. But notice this clears out, so that means Tuesday will be a lot better. The hourly forecast as we do push forward, again, showers and yes, thunderstorms today with temperatures only in the low 70s. Your full 5-day forecast is coming up. Craig and Janessa?
All right, thank you, Devin. Well, now for the latest on what's happening in Hollywood.
We'll check out the very latest.
Dr. Banner?
No Banner, only Hulk.
Spider-Man Brand New Day swung to box office history over the weekend. The movie made $168 million on its opening day at the domestic box office, making it the biggest North American opening day ever. It netted $355 million domestically over the whole of the weekend. Let's go! The Odyssey sailed in at number 2 with $51 million. The Greek epic is in its third weekend.
Let's play!
Oh, extinction! Not again!
And Toy Story 5 rounded out the top 3 with $6.3 million. We also got some big casting news out of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Actress Samara Weaving will play Emma Frost in Marvel's upcoming reboot of The X-Men. Both X-Men and Spider-Man are produced by divisions of Disney, the parent company of ABC News. Allison Cossack, ABC News, New York.
I've got to check out the Spider-Man movie.
It sounds,
looks great.
yeah, it sounds really good.
Yeah.
Well, still to come here this morning, Jack Webb with sports.
Don't go away.
Lights, camera, cheese! The Cheese House is looking for its next star, and it could be you. If you're 21 or older, enter for your chance to appear in the next commercial. Stop by the Cheese House at 5 Pike Drive in Fairfield to enter. While you're there, browse their huge selection of glassware and 420 specialty foods. But we have the cheese! Remember, entries are happening in person at the Cheese House, 5 Pike Drive in Fairfield. Bring your personality, bring your smile, and we have the cheese.
When outdoors, some people like it hot and some people like it cold. However, when indoors, most people like it comfortably warm. Consider a Rinnai direct vent wall furnace from McCusick Petroleum Company to provide you with comfortable and efficient heat. They also offer sales and service on many brands of furnaces, boilers, and water heaters. McCusick Petroleum Company delivers oil and LP gas to homes and businesses throughout the Pequot region. If you'd like more information on pricing or service, call or stop by our office in Dover Foxcroft.
Got old metal and junk cars? Turn that clutter into cash at Daddy and Daughters. We make recycling easy, fast, and fair. From Skowhegan to Dover Foxcroft, from Troy to Lee, you can trust our certified scales and friendly service, offering top prices for junk vehicles in Maine. Whether you drop off or we pick up, Daddy and Daughters covers Central and Eastern Maine. Come see us at one of our 4 locations and watch your scrap pay off. Daddy and Daughters turn scrap into cash.
ABC 7 and Fox 22's Jack Webb named Maine's Sportscaster of the Year by the National Sports Media Association.
Matt McKenzie, a state of Maine basketball legend in your own right? Madomic Valley is a player, Husson is a player and champion, Husson as a coach and champion. Then you get into the private training world, right? And you meet the Flag Twins, you know, and that's kind of what you're more known for all of a sudden, right? That's almost what you're famous for in this area and honestly at this point across the country. And I want to take it back to the beginning, right? What is your first memory of the Flag Twins? What was the introduction like? How'd you get to know them and the Flag family?
The introduction was I got a Facebook message from Kelly Flagg back when Cooper and Ace were in the 6th grade. And she said that she had 2 twin boys that were in love with the game. They were eager to continue to work on their skills. They were familiar with a player named Bryce Lozier, who was Maine Mr. Basketball Gatorade Player of the Year. And I had been working with him for years. And they wanted to kind of follow in his footsteps with regard to how he was working on his game. And so she asked if I would consider working with them. And the first time that I met them, Ralph Flagg, their dad, brought them in. And we kind of put them through the ringer, and they fell in love with my approach, and we just built this unbelievable relationship built on trust, truth-telling, and it's just been great ever since.
We'll get to this year, and we talked about it before, but for Coop, coming into his rookie season, obviously you're trying to adjust to NBA basketball when he was supposed to be entering his freshman year of college, right? I mean, what was the grind process like and the work like last summer to prepare him for an NBA season?
Last summer, we were really preparing for the draft combine, the team workouts, really kind of trying to mimic what those workouts would look like. And then obviously looking ahead at the NBA style, heavy pick and roll, isolation, trying to pick the brains of NBA coaches to see how he would potentially play, how they envisioned him playing in the league. So we really put together these workouts week after week that would kind of put him into game-like situations that he's going to see as an NBA player. And I thought that he handled last summer very well. It was a lot of work, and we prepared him the best we possibly could for his rookie year. And I think we did a really good job of that. Now, knowing what we know post-rookie year, it's really going to allow us to do some different things this summer. So I travel out there on Sunday, and we'll get on the floor with a couple of his assistant coaches with the Mavs, and we kind of treat it like a team approach. And so they'll be able to kind of sprinkle in some of the different actions that the Mavs run and the defensive coverages, and then I can kind of tackle the skill development side. But again, going back to your question about last summer, it was a lot of work, but I think that he handled it very well, and he was very prepared, or as prepared as he possibly could have been for the rookie year, although that first back-to-back, that hit him right in the face.
Did it really? You got a story about that, or was that just something he was like, wow, like playing an NBA game back-to-back? Like, was that just something at the end, was it before he kind of raised a question to you? Was it after? He was like, that was a lot. What was that like for him?
Well, I think his first 2 welcome to the NBA moments were, number 1, opening night. He starts opening night playing against Wemby, and seeing that kind of size, his first NBA game in front of the Dallas fans, I think that was a lot. And I think he realized, okay, this is a different level. And not that he wasn't ready for it, I think he was, but it was, wow, I'm here. And then also his first back-to-back, just what that does to your body. And, you know, the NBA game, it's so physical, it's fast, and, you know, it takes a lot, it takes a big toll on your body. And to have to go through 2 games back-to-back, I think that his body was like screaming at him. And so he had to kind of change his approach a little bit in terms of his sleep, his pregame routine, making sure that his diet is dialed in, so that way his body could just perform at a high level. throughout those 82 games.
You know, you talk about the back-to-back, that welcome to the NBA moment. We talked about, you know, a moment where he needed some help, right? He called you, and I think you said it was after the Clippers game, or might have been it was sometime in LA. Yeah. Can you share that story? Just about a time where, you know, Coop had to adjust and had a little trouble adjusting to the NBA game.
There were a couple different points during the season, and again, he's not afraid to reach out for help. He's not afraid to ask for another opinion. But we had a great conversation out in LA around the Clippers game. I think it was in the end of November. And it was more so just about him being as assertive as he needed to be on the floor, and understanding that in order for his team to play well, he needed to be aggressive getting to his spots. It was okay for him to maybe take 1 or 2 bad shots from time to time just to figure it out. And you kind of saw that turning point out there in LA. I challenged him to shoot 16 shot attempts in that game. Well, he ended up having 16 shot attempts in the first half.
Troy Jackson bragged about being one of Graham Plattner's earliest supporters. When the news of Plattner's Nazi tattoo came out, Jackson stood with Plattner. When Plattner blamed women for getting raped because they get drunk, Jackson stood by Plattner. And when the media reported Plattner was violent toward women, Jackson stood again with Plattner.
I want to say thank you very much to Troy.
Don't be fooled by Troy Jackson. He's another phony we can't trust. Pine Tree Results PAC is responsible for the content of this advertising.
Invest in your nest with the County Federal Credit Union. Your home has grown in value season after season. With the county's 10-10 Home Equity Line of Credit, you can borrow up to your credit limit over 10 years with interest-only payments over those 10 years, 10-10. And then you can stop and smell the roses, soak up the sun, and invest in your nest. The 10-10 Home Equity Line of Credit, the County Federal Credit Union, countyfcu.org.
For the best selection in classic and contemporary furnishings, stop by Richard Parks Furniture on High Street in Ellsworth. Handcrafted New England-made bedrooms and dining rooms, imported Scandinavian recliners and upholstery, more than 40 lines of furniture for the home and patio. Richard Parks Furniture is your #1 stop for quality, functionality, and well-designed furniture at affordable prices. Richard Parks Furniture.
Discover Richard Parks.
132 High Street in Ellsworth.
Discover Richard.
Welcome back, everyone. Well, more than 100 riders took part in the annual We Ride for Vets charity motorcycle ride over the weekend. Central Maine Harley-Davidson partnered with Jarhead's MC Dirigo Crew to put on the 4th annual ride. Organizers say the ride is about more than motorcycles. It's about honoring those who sacrificed for our country and giving back to veterans in need. All of the proceeds benefit the Maine Veterans Project, an organization dedicated to reducing veteran suicides through various programs and services. And one of the program directors said that more than 150 people took part in this year's ride. And according to him, the event has helped raise over $10,000 for Maine Veterans Project over the last few years.
What a nice thing to do. We had them in on our
They
morning news a week
said
or so ago.
Last year they had the most at 120 riders, so they beat their record, which is awesome.
Good for them. That's great.
Well, now here's meteorologist Devin Biggs with our full weather forecast.
Alrighty, Craig and Janessa, thank you very much. Your full weather forecast brought to you by Old Town Redemption Center, now offering a 10% bonus on your returnables and a monthly $100 drawing. Alrighty, here we go. We have a small craft advisory that is posted until 8 a.m. as we head towards your Tuesday along the coast. Active surf will be expected as an area low pressure tracks from the southwest and goes toward the north and east. And we're not seeing it just quite yet. All the active surf is further off towards the south and west at this moment in time. So all the buoys nearby are not looking too bad just quite yet. And the key word for now is yet. But water temperatures at the moment are in the mid 60s nearby, even some 60s and even some 70s further off towards the east. Meanwhile, the big headline now is going to be the showers and thunderstorms that are going to be moving in from the southwest to the north and east. The lightning tracker is on, so no lightning with this just quite yet, but it is going to be taking place later on today with all the rainfall moving in. We could use some rainfall. Some areas, especially farther down toward the south end of the west, are in drought right now, so we'll take the rainfall as well. This is that area low pressure that's tracking off towards to the north end of the east, and again, that's what's going to be giving us the showers and the thunderstorms that will be moving in today. So let's check out this area low pressure. Showers and thunderstorms today, and the winds will be gusty as well, not only today and tonight, but also into tomorrow as well, with the area low pressure tracking to the north and east. The good news is we'll have some sunshine at least, but even as we head towards Tuesday evening, we'll still have some wind to deal with, even though the sky will be more on the clear side. It will be Wednesday before things start to calm down. So for today, here's what we got. Showers and thunderstorms. Yes, wind too, with highs in the mid-70s. South wind at about 25 miles per hour. Later on tonight, thunderstorms early, then partly cloudy, lows only in the low 60s, and a south wind at about 30 miles per hour. And then for tomorrow, a lot better, mostly sunny, still windy, with highs in the mid-80s and a west wind at about 30 miles per hour. All right, let's check out your extended forecast. Wednesday, partly cloudy, highs warming into the upper 80s, with Thursday, partly cloudy, highs in the low 90s, and then Friday, showers and thunderstorms with highs in the upper 80s.
Honey, where's the countertop?
I sent it out to the granite shop this morning to be replaced.
Wow.
The quickest turnaround in the business, the Granite Shop in Sedgwick.
Need a driveway paved or an entire road surfaced? Give Eaton Paving and Excavation a call. Eaton Paving offers a full line of excavation packages, from new home projects to new and replacement septics and driveways. We also install new shoreland and do shoreland repairs. Our operators have more than 75 years combined experience, and we have been delivering quality, professional service for nearly 3 decades. We strive to exceed your expectations. Give us a call today at 207-348-5630 or visit us at EatonPaving.com.
30 years living that Washington, D.C. lifestyle. That'll change a person. Getting rich from insider stock trading should be illegal. But Susan Collins doesn't think so. Susan Collins wants to keep it so senators can play the stock market, make millions of dollars doing it. Why we struggle to pay for gas, groceries, health insurance, the basics. For them to get all that money while we're paying more, it's not right. It's not right. Tell Susan Collins to stop this congressional stock trade.
Let's play Millionaire. Famous friends are in the hot seat, and they're looking to win big money for charity.
What's an ophthalmologist? That's eye. That's not bug, is it?
That sounded pretty sure to me. Jimmy Kimmel hosts The Emmy-winning Millionaire, Wednesday on ABC.
You spent all $17,000?
Unfortunately, it was misappropriated.
Misappropriated? What did you spend the money on?
New Orleans got part of it. Hot Bench.
Monday at 3 on ABC 7.
Oh, it was a great day Sunday to run across some crates. The 79th annual Maine Lobster Festival wrapped up with its annual International Great Crate Race. And if you didn't catch our live broadcast of the event, it was on Fox 22. Here are some of the results. In the super class, it was Owen Dakin from Wyndham finishing with 31 crates. In the medium class, it was Blake Monroe from Owl's Head with 78 crates. And in the light class, it was Mauve Poland from Cushing with 279 crates. And in the feather class from Rockland, again, it was Maverick Asplund crossing with a total of 6,050 crates.
Well, congratulations.
Yeah, it was a great day.
Yes, well, that's all the time that we have left.
Have a good one, everyone.
Seasons Lounge and Banquet Center. We're just 1 block from Hollywood Slots in Bangor and are now under new management with a new chef and a completely redesigned menu. Come grab a drink and enjoy a meal with us. Fans, food, fun. Seasons.
Imagine stepping onto your brand new deck, enjoying all the benefits of your expanded outdoor living space. Hammond Lumber Company can help turn that vision into reality. Visit any of Hammond's expansive showrooms and explore a world of possibilities. The timeless beauty of wood, the resilience of composite or affordable durable PVC. Railing options from traditional wood to sleek aluminum and contemporary cable railing. On-site consultation and delivery are available. Get started on your new deck when you bring your vision to Hammond Lumber Company.
For the best selection in classic and contemporary furnishings, stop by Richard Parks Furniture on High Street in Ellsworth. Handcrafted New England-made bedrooms and dining rooms, imported Scandinavian recliners and upholstery, more than 40 lines of furniture for the home and patio. Richard Parks Furniture is your #1 stop for quality, functionality, and well-designed furniture at affordable prices. Richard Parks Furniture.
Discover Richard Parks.
132 High Street in Ellsworth.
Discover Richard.
The fun never stops at Wheel.
You got it! It's a car! And the crowd goes wild. A truly historic bonus round on Wheel of Fortune. Somebody could win $500,000. Where are you going? To pass out? Exciting giveaways ahead, like fabulous vacations, and let's manifest another $1 million winner. You're a millionaire! Oh my God!
Weekdays at 7 on ABC 7.
Seasons Lounge and Banquet Center. We're just one block from Hollywood Slots in Bangor and are now under new management with a new chef and a completely redesigned menu. Come grab a drink and enjoy a meal with us. Fans, food, fun. Seasons.
You're watching ABC 7 Bangor.
Good morning, America. Millions on alert for the morning commute. The heroes at In-N-Out, a food allergy game changer, and a super weekend for Spider-Man.
Hello, everyone. Today on Good Morning Maine, Rockland police are investigating a serious crash between a motorcycle and a car. We'll have the details coming up.
Plus, Bangor's Together Places now officially closed their doors due to a lack of funds. We'll have the latest on that as well.
And folks gathered over the weekend on the Penobscot River to help celebrate marine heritage.
Good morning and welcome to Good Morning Maine. I'm Janessa Bishop.
And I'm Craig Colson. Thank you for joining us on this Monday morning. Hope you had a great weekend. Nice to see you too, my friend.
Yeah, you as well.
We've been like two ships passing in the night lately.
We really have been.
Had some weird summer schedules. A lot of people don't do that, but it's nice to be back here together. We'll have all the day's news coming up over the next hour, but first to check that forecast, and it's going to be just a rainy day today.
Yeah.
Not great news if you're